Imagine waking up 7,000 years ago. You don't have coffee. You don't have a clean glass of water waiting for you. You don't have a supermarket, a refrigerator, or a tap. Instead, before you start your day, you reach for a bowl of fermented liquid. Something slightly cloudy, slightly sour, and yes, slightly alcoholic. Not because you wanted to get drunk, not because you were partying, but because this drink might have been one of the safest things you could consume. And here's the strange part. The invention of alcohol may have helped humans create some of the world's first civilizations. Because the same drink that changed our biology also changed our societies. But why would ancient humans choose alcohol over fresh water? And how did a simple fermented drink help build cities, religions, and even governments? The answer begins with a problem that sounds simple, but nearly killed civilizations before they even began. Water. For modern humans, water is almost invisible. You turn a tap. You fill a bottle. You drink. But thousands of years ago, finding safe drinking water was a daily challenge. A river might look clean, a spring might seem fresh, but invisible bacteria could turn that water into a deadly weapon. One sip could bring diseases that wiped out entire communities. And humans eventually discovered something interesting. When you ferment a liquid, something changes. Yeast consumes sugar. It produces alcohol, and alcohol kills many harmful microbes, meaning a fermented drink was often safer than untreated water. It wasn't drinking to party. It was closer to drinking a primitive version of food preservation. Around 10,000 years ago, humans began doing something revolutionary. They stopped moving. They started farming. This was one of the biggest turning points in human history. But farming created a problem. Suddenly, people had enormous amounts of grain, wheat, barley, and seeds. And grains don't stay fresh forever. So humans experimented. What happens if we crush grain? Mix it with water? Leave it alone? Eventually, they discovered fermentation. The result? Beer, one of humanity's oldest inventions. And here's where things get surprising. Ancient beer was not like modern beer. It was often thick, cloudy, full of calories, sometimes closer to liquid bread than a modern drink. In many societies, beer was basically a nutritious meal you could drink. Here's the part most people don't expect. Alcohol wasn't just something ancient humans consumed. It helped organize society. In ancient Mesopotamia, beer was everywhere. Workers were often paid with beer. Laborers received daily rations. Even people who built some of the world's first cities depended on these systems. Why? Because storing grain and turning it into beer created a predictable food supply. And once humans could store food, they could support larger populations. Larger populations created cities. Cities created governments. Governments created civilizations. A simple chain reaction: grain storage, fermentation, beer, social organization, and civilization. But there is an even stranger reason ancient people drank alcohol. Some historians believe alcohol wasn't just a practical solution. It may have changed how humans connected with each other. Humans are social creatures. We cooperate. We create communities. We build things together. But cooperation is difficult. You have to trust strangers. You have to form relationships. And alcohol has a unique effect. It lowers social barriers. It makes conversations easier. It creates rituals. Across history, fermented drinks became connected with celebrations, ceremonies, and religion. Sharing a drink wasn't just about the liquid. It was about creating bonds. A person who shared food and drink with you became part of your group. And groups that trusted each other survived better. Now, here's where the popular story gets exaggerated. Ancient humans were not walking around drunk every day. Their drinks were usually much weaker than modern alcohol. And many people drank small amounts throughout the day because fermented beverages were part of their diet. Think less. Ancient party culture, and more. Ancient nutritional routine. For many societies, alcohol was closer to bread, soup, or tea, a normal part of life. But alcohol also came with problems. Ancient people understood intoxication. They wrote about it. They warned against excess. The same substance that brought communities together could also create conflict. Ancient Egyptian writings, Greek philosophers, and Roman authors all discussed the dangers of drinking too much. Humans discovered alcohol's benefits and its risks thousands of years ago. So why did ancient humans drink alcohol every day? Not because they were trying to escape reality. Not because everyone wanted to be drunk. They drank because fermentation solved problems. It made food last longer. It made drinks safer. It provided calories. It brought people together. And strangely enough, the same substance we often associate with celebration today may have played a role in creating the very civilizations that shaped our world. The next time you see someone raise a glass, remember, you might be looking at one of humanity's oldest inventions. If you enjoy uncovering the strange stories behind everyday things, subscribe, because the history of humanity is full of inventions we think we understand, until we discover the surprising reason they existed in the first place.